Hey my friends, David Guido here, personal development coach, speaker, trainer, Zig Ziglar Legacy certified coach and trainer, and author of the book, What If? What If? 30 Days to Powerful New Perspective. And I had a topic that we were going to cover this week that we're going to cover next week because United Airlines. So as soon as you hear that, you're like, yeah, okay. Unless you've been under a rock for the last 4 or 5 days, whatever it's been, in which case you don't know what happened. Flight overbooked, nobody volunteers to get off, passenger is drawn at random, refuses to get off, gets dragged, bloodied, beaten, broken. As he's being dragged off the plane, people freak out, social media takes over. And if you have been paying attention, you know that there are memes and articles and opinions flying left and right all over social media, right? But those have been focused on what happened. We're not going to talk about what happened. We weren't there. We're not going to talk about what happened. But we're going to talk about why. See, because that's the issue. The issue is why. And based on that why, what one little thing could have been different, could have been done differently to change that event? And how does that pertain to our life? That's the subject this week. So real quick recap, what happened is United overbooked overbooked the plane, overbooked the flight, and then decided that no matter what, they were putting their crew on that flight. And they were only going to offer a certain amount of money. They weren't going to offer the maximum amount. They weren't going to offer a lot of extra benefits. They decided that what they wanted and needed trumped everything else. The passenger decided that he was not going to volunteer. And then when his name was called and drawn randomly, he decided he wouldn't cooperate. And then he created a scene through his lack of cooperation that negatively affected the emotions of dozens of people. And then once the video got out, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, millions of people. Because all he was concerned about is what he wanted. The airline was only concerned about what they wanted. The passenger was only concerned about what he wanted. The other passengers on the plane didn't volunteer. Some number of them didn't have to be life or death, have to be in Louisville. Could have been 1, could have been 50, could have been 10, 20. I don't know what the number is, but I'm absolutely convinced, without a shadow of a doubt, that some number of the people on that plane didn't life or death have to be in Louisville on that flight. They all wanted to be in Louisville on that flight, and so they wouldn't give up their seat. And then when the drama unfolded and the gentleman who drew a line in the sand was being dragged off and getting hurt, nobody stood up and said, enough is enough. I'll volunteer. And everybody was really quick to film it and get it out there on social media. Because it was all about them. What they wanted was more important than anything else. Do you see a pattern there? And see, that's the lesson we need to learn from this event, is that when you've got a situation and everybody involved only wants what they want, and nobody's willing to stop and make a decision that maybe goes against what they personally want, but is what's in the best interest of the greater good, chaos ensues. That's the lesson. So if you're running a business, what's a better alternative than what United did? You continue to raise your offer until somebody's willing to take it. I've been on flights where the airline didn't get violent with somebody and create a massive scene that was emotionally difficult. They simply said, we're not leaving until somebody volunteers. And they drew that line in the sand. But at least nobody was affected emotionally, as is the case in an event of violence. The airline could have just simply said, that crew that has to get to Louisville is another flight's, another cruise, another person's issue or challenge they should deal with. Our responsibility on this plane is to these 60 or 70 people who paid, and we're not going to worry about anybody else. If nobody's willing to volunteer, we're going to go. And if that's not the airline policy, then maybe the airline needs to look at that. Because if you're running a business and you want to avoid these kind of calamities and these kind of chaotic events, you will recognize the moment where you need to stop making it about you and what you want and make decisions based on what's best for the greater good. The passenger, if you're that person where you have just drawn a line in the sand and said, nope, this is all about me and this is what I want, that's fine. Until the point where it starts to affect other people. And then I would strongly encourage you to consider that when you get to that situation, that you think about making a decision that in that moment will not give you what you want, but will benefit the greater good. And if you're in a situation where you can give up something you want to prevent an event from occurring, to prevent an incident from occurring, to help somebody else, and it inconveniences you in the short term, but it makes a huge difference in the lives of other people and positively impacts them, I would strongly encourage you to put the other people, put the situation above your personal needs whenever possible. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, if the airline had ever decided that what they wanted wasn't most important, if the individual dragged off the plane had ever decided at one point that his wants and needs should come second to the greater good, if some passenger who life or death didn't have to be in Louisville had stood up and said, I will volunteer, we wouldn't be having this conversation because the event never would have occurred. All it would have taken for it to be completely non-existent as an event is for one person to put their needs secondary to other people. And that's what we're called to do, my friends. We are called to find those situations where we can put other people first, where we can put the greater good ahead of our personal wants in the moment. Does that mean we never look out for ourselves? No, do not take that the wrong way. But what the late, great, incomparable Zig Ziglar always said was absolutely 100% true. You can have everything in life you want, if you will just help enough other people get what they want. That is the complete opposite of what philosophy was lived out on that airplane. United Airlines did not live by the philosophy if you can have everything in life you want, if you will just help enough other people get what they want. The passenger dragged off the plane certainly did not do that. And the number of people, whether it's 1, 5, 10, or every single person on the plane, that life or death didn't have to be in Louisville, did not live by the you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want philosophy. And look at the chaos that ensued. Look at the calamity that ensued. Look at the social media posts and the fight between people that are supposedly friends who are at each other's throats on social media. The lost hours, the lost productivity, the increased stress, the fighting, the bickering, the one-upping each other in the mean, vile comments. All because at no point did one person, just one, say, no, the greater good's going to be more important here than what I want. And isn't that true in every area of our life? That at work or at home or in our communities, bigger picture in our world, that when everybody just has to be right, when everybody just has to take a stand and not give in what they want in that moment, that chaos ensues. That's the lesson for this week, is to find those times where you can put other people first, where you can avoid those situations, whether it's in your business, at home, with your coworkers, with your clients, or even just simply with people you don't know. You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. And if you're sitting there going, I ain't doing that because nobody else does it, then guess what, my friend? Everybody else controls you. Hard to hear. You may not like to hear that. You may even disagree with me. But the reality is if you know in your heart that putting other people or putting the greater good first in some cases is the right thing to do, but you won't do it because nobody else will, those other people are controlling you in your life, period. Step out. Step out, follow your heart, and when it's appropriate and when it will serve the greater good, you can have everything in life you want if it's just help enough other people get what they want. Do put your needs second to the greater good. When chaos can be avoided, when calamity can be avoided, when fights can be avoided, when stress and trouble and lack of productivity can be avoided. And then watch your peace and your joy and your fulfillment, your contentment skyrocket in your relationships deepen, which is all part of that so good life. So I hope this serves you. Like, comment, share, especially if you know somebody that really could be served by hearing this. And until the next time, get out there every single day and discover something new. Every day learn something. Every day reach out and serve someone. Put someone else first. Make a difference, impact somebody every day. Go for your dreams every day. Dream and go for them. Live the life that is so good.